So last night at about 6:30, just as I was about to log off and go for a pint, I got a message from you asking me if I wanted to do an interview on LBC News. And I was like, all right, let's do it. It was about Grok's recent ridiculous anti-Semitic comments and how Elon Musk and other CEOs don't know how to control their models or reliably give them good values. And listen, telling the truth is the easiest job in the world. Sometimes it's nerve-wracking being in front of so many people, but I think I did a reasonably good job. There are some things I may have said a little bit differently, like using more up-to-date examples of dangerous behaviours in AI models, like Claude's blackmail, for example. But anyway, I'll let you watch.
Today, we have heard that Linda Yaccarino is stepping down as chief executive of Elon Musk's social media platform X. She has been there for 2 years, but she is on her way out. She actually posted a positive message on X about her tenure at the company as she departed this afternoon. She said the best is yet to come as X enters a new chapter with Elon Musk's artificial intelligence company XAI. That is the maker of the chatbot Grok, which is also in the news today. It has removed what it has called inappropriate social media posts after complaints that it produced content with anti-Semitic tropes and praise for Hitler. The Anti-Defamation League has called on Grok and other producers of large language model software that produce human-sounding text to avoid producing content rooted in anti-Semitic and extremist hate. The Polish government says it is going to report XAI to the European Commission after Grok made offensive comments about Polish politicians, including the Prime Minister Donald Tusk. Let's find out more about what's going on here. Let's speak to Tom Bibby, who is a spokesperson for the grassroots advocacy group PauseAI. Tom, thanks for being with us tonight. Just first off, can you just explain a bit more about what Grok is and how it works?
So Grok, similar to ChatGPT and Claude, is a large language model. These models are trained with huge amounts of data and huge amounts of computing power. They're not designs like traditional software where code is written line by line, but rather they are trained using these huge amounts of data. And because of that, the designers of these models don't really understand how they work under the bonnet. And that leads to these kind of ridiculous behaviours that we've seen today from Grok.
And why did this happen? How did this happen?
Well, I mean, I don't have the exact details of the exact kind of training process that goes on at XAI, which is Elon Musk's company that trains these models. But one of the techniques that's used to train these models and try and guide their behaviours is called reinforcement learning from human feedback. And this works somewhat at kind of hiding some of the weird values and weird behaviors of these models, but it's not a reliable technique to reliably make sure that these models are acting in the interests of humanity and being, polite and proper and having values that allow for human flourishing.
Elon Musk's social media platform X, which quite often Grok does output post to, of course, X, formerly Twitter, has become something of a bit of a cauldron, hasn't it, of some very strong views, quite often some quite hateful views, hasn't it? Is that perhaps sort of linked to what may have been going on here?
Perhaps. Again, look, I don't have the full details on why these behaviours emerged, but we've seen similar behaviours emerge in Gemini, for example, back in 2022 or 2023. This is Google DeepMind's model, where it threatened to kill one of the users who was chatting with it. This just goes to show that none of these AI companies have any idea how to reliably give these models goals and values that align with humanity's. Luckily, these models are not yet intelligent enough for these values to manifest in actions that actually physically harm humans. But if we allow these AI companies to continue scaling the capabilities and the intelligence of these models, well, we may end up in a world in which these horrific values that are obviously under the bonnet of all these models actually manifest in real world harm to humans.
And what can be done to put guardrails here to actually make sure that things do stay safe for humanity, as you say?
There are many regulations that could be brought into place. I mean, the EU has the EU AI Act, and they have some provisions for general purpose models, which is defined as huge models trained with more than 10 to the 25 flops, which just means lots and lots of computing power, basically. But what we're asking for at PauseAI is a global treaty that limits the amount of computing power that the most powerful companies can use to train their models, because they have no idea how to make sure these models are safe, how to give them values that are aligned with humans, or how to reliably control them. As these capabilities match and surpass the human level, which most experts think we're not very far away from, that's obviously going to end in disaster. So we shouldn't allow these AI companies to train these models if they can't prove to us that the resulting model is going to be safe. Because I have a family that I love and care about too much to allow their lives to be put at risk by these companies.
Tom Bibby, thank you for joining us from PauseAI.
This is LBC.